Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of El Caile podcast. This is our last holiday episode, and we have a really special guest here. And I'm glad you're doing the entire episode with me.
No.
So thank you for being here. Mikey's also here. You can't see him, but he's right there. And we have a full studio audience today. Letty's here. Chuy is here. Will, and obviously Max is here. Fresh off the plane from New York. If you love Diana as much as we do, stick around for this episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we have a live performance later.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, Chika D. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
It's okay.
This is like a close and personal podcast, but Max just corrected me. Chika D es tu nombre artístico.
Chika D, yes.
Hoy
Thank you for having me. I'm so
Yes,
excited.
of
I've been waiting to come to your podcast.
Yeah.
I enjoy your podcast. I think that it really shows like how someone can be so genuine with and being so comfortable, right? And that's the things that I like podcasts the most.
Thank you so much.
So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. I know I already called her by her first name. We're on first name basis. I like totally
Well, we're
spaced.
close. So,
Chika D.
yeah.
Chika D's here. I'm so happy you're here. Okay, you're right. Let's talk to you first. I was like gonna go straight into my little handwritten note, but something really special to me was meeting you for the first time, because Julieta Venegas is like every Spanish speaking girl's, like everything. When something good happens, you listen to Julieta Venegas. When something bad happens, you listen to Julieta Venegas. Like, she's like the soundtrack to our lives. So that night when Max was like, do you want to go see Julieta Venegas? I was like, yes, 100% yes. And I didn't know you yet. I actually met you there. And you're opening for her. You did such an amazing job. I never had heard you. I never even heard your music. And then that day I got like the pleasure of hearing you live. And you did such an amazing job. And I got to meet your friend too that was there. Remind me her name.
Yeah, Gina.
Gina, yes.
Gina was there. Yeah, it was definitely an experience. It's the third time I opened for Julieta Venegas.
Really?
The third time in my career, and every time is such an amazing experience. She has, an amazing team, from management to musicians, and in the venue is the best venue I ever played with, and it's just super excited. Her fans are like, my dream fans because I'm a big fan. And I've been listening to Julieta Venegas since I started my music career when I was 13. So for me, being in a position of winning music contests with her songs all the way to being able to open up for her was like a moment that I was like, wow, a beautiful moment.
You said that was the third time opening up for her.
Yeah.
How was the first time ever opening
I
up?
couldn't believe it.
I bet.
I couldn't believe it when that was when I was in my previous band, and then everybody else is American, so for them was like, oh, cool, it's gonna be a cool concert. When they told me who it was, I was like, what? Wait, what? This is someone that I imitated at some point,
That's so funny.
when I was little, and I love her songs, and it was just, and I couldn't believe it. And then I was nervous, and I got to meet her, and she's like so cool and like down earth and super humble.
She's like a little fairy.
Yes, and she has a great spirit, and she kind of gives you this calmness, and I love that about
That's
her.
a lot how you are. You have a calm energy.
I have
about you.
sides of me.
Yeah. She's like, don't let me get comfortable.
No, I'm calm. I mean, I think overall I'm super chill, but I'm Latina also. Like, I have that part of me that when it comes out, and if you love me, like, my people will understand. But if you don't know me and you might see me in a moment like that, you might think ooh.
One of the the intense
She's
Latino
intense.
moments. There's a
Yeah.
Latina.
Yeah, I think it's part of a culture. Every time I remind my family, because they're, Americans, and so
Americans, they don't
yeah,
understand.
no, they don't. Yeah, they don't realize. I think it's not like they don't realize that we grew up different, and and for me, I always say, "Oh, you guys are just so sensitive," but I have to come to the point. I was like, "No, they're not sensitive. They were in a different space and time.
Right.
They grow up different. I grew up different."
Tell me how you
So
grew up, because we talked a little bit about it earlier, and you
yes,
shared your earliest
so ooh,
experiences.
I'm a premature baby, 6 months.
You took it all the way to the beginning.
Die 2 times based on what I know,
When
what
you
my
were a
family
baby?
told me. Yes. So because I was born so early that I was born with like not even complete. I was not a baby. I was still a fetus pretty
When you
much.
were born.
So I didn't have a butt. That's what my family told me. And it's like can be sad, but it can be for me it's funny, right? But some people was telling my grandma and my mom was like, ooh, they give you that because they they don't want it to die in a hospital, but she's not gonna make it, and here I am. So my first 5 years I was very sick, a sick child, because I was born very early. So then my lungs weren't functioning properly, my organs weren't functioning properly. So I have to spend the first 5 years of my life in hospitals and treatments, and to the point that I was good. I had asthma for a period of time after that, and then all of a sudden, boom, I'm super healthy. And
Just like overnight or over
it was
time?
a process. So they took me from like different hospitals to the point that they were like, well, nothing is working so far. Let's do her like a more traditional medicine, so herbalist. So ever since they did that, my family did like herbal treatments and changing my diet. I changed.
You
I
stopped
became
taking
healthy.
medications and stuff?
Stop medication, starting with natural remedies
So you were on medications for being a premature baby or an unhealthy
until
child
5.
until 5, and your parents started treating you with herbal medicine?
Yeah,
So you stopped all your medication and you started taking only herbal medicine,
only herbal medicine.
and you
And
got all
changing the
better?
diet.
Oh,
They got to the
changing your
point like,
diet.
changing the diet to starting being normal.
So what was the diet change?
Ooh, like very little starch, more
Okay.
fruits, more fiber.
Like what was that man's Dr. Sebi diet? Something like that? Like non-inflammatory diet, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
changed my life. Changed my whole life.
Wow.
Yeah, and I barely get sick. We all have like little
Yeah.
things
Do
here
you
and there,
have
but
that diet now still? Like you
I
kept it?
try.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard
Right.
because back in Colombia, everything is, it's like you get everything so fresh. So you go to the corner, to the fruit store, right? And they have like the fruta
right.
fresca, and they have, if you consume meat, it's like the cow that they just,
Fresh.
it's super fresh that they kill in the morning,
Right.
kind of thing. So everything is super fresh. And
Tell me about growing up in Colombia and how that shaped you as an artist and as a singer more than anything.
I think that, so I was born in Medellin, Colombia. It has everything. Being born in Colombia is like you experience everything. Especially where I was, I grew up in Bello, which is still Medellin, but it's even, it's como un pueblito. So it's not like a huge city. And just, from living the experience of the community, everybody knows everybody, from playing outside all the time, not TVs, we didn't grow up with devices. And so just being outside all the time kind of expose you to like good when it comes to like socializing, but it exposes you to a lot of, you know, I grew up in one of the most violent era that there was, and it was also kind of like, you know, I had to take therapy to let go of all those feelings
From
because it
growing
was
up
a lot
there,
from growing up there.
being a child, like in a violent place.
Yeah, being a child, I didn't need to see all
Right.
the things I have seen, or that, you know, at that point in life.
Right.
It's like you're so little, you can't, you know, you're like trying to understand life, and then you get to see it all.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, it was an experience, and I think that how that helped me with me being who I am now as an artist and entrepreneur, because I'm an independent artist. It just teaches you that just need to work hard and always shoot for more and work hard. You know, nothing was given to us.
Right.
You know, when we were little, we I don't come from a rich family, so nothing was given to us. We
Tell me
have
how-
to work for everything, and I come from a really hardworking family.
Amen. I love that. Tell me how that experience shaped your desire or inspiration to be a singer, to be an artist. Like, when did you know? Like, living in Colombia and you were a little girl, did you know that you were
So-
headed that way?
I've been always being passionate about arts. And since I was little, I was like, I want to be part of this, of like school events and church events. And I want to dress up. So ours was usually, it was like, I'm always, but my dad got killed when I was 12. And that was a moment when my family, my mom was like, my mom and my auntie were like, you know, what are we going to do? Like, we need to help her, because there was a moment that I didn't want to leave, because he was the biggest love. He was very present for me. My mom, he was working all the time, but he was very, very present. It's like that, you know, girl-father relationship was the best for me. So not having him present was very difficult for me, to the point that it was like, I don't want to leave. And they have at that point, they were like, okay, we got to do something for her. So they put me, you know, I got treatment with like psychologists. And then they were like, you know, she needs to find something that she really loves, so she can put herself in that path and don't get stuck in the present moment of what just happened. And then I discovered music. So I was 12, and then I was like starting writing, not really knowing that I had a voice, but I started writing and writing and writing. And the first performance I had in like una placa de polideportiva in like a soccer field, but from the streets, like, you know, it's
Like someone made it? Like someone made
that
it
I was like, you know, 12-year-old just singing my own song
that you wrote?
that I wrote. And it was about hope. So I think that, you know, like, if I come out of the darkness with hope, everybody can do the same thing.
So that was your first performance, was on a soccer field in Colombia.
The song was about meditating and love.
Wow.
So since I was 12, I had that very present in my life. And I kept into that legacy of like, no matter what I go through, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to love the experience, good or bad, and keep on moving. And I think that's very important when it comes to an artist being independent. There is going to be a lot of obstacles, like everybody. But if you just keep yourself in motion, then you get to enjoy beautiful moments during the process. So I think that helps me a lot to be as persistent as I am.
I love that. That's persistence is definitely what's going to keep you on track. And I told you this earlier, but I always tell people about you. I'd be like,
This is
and
so
I
cute.
this is like the first time I ever told her, but since I've met you, I always tell people I know a professional singer, because I feel like that's not a really common thing to know someone who professionally sings. That's their job. They wake up and they write music and they sing as a career. So
Sometimes I write music when I sleep.
in
Too.
your sleep,
Yes.
like Nikola
So
Tesla.
the song that got more traction in my whole career is it was on the Latin Billboard, and and that song was a dream.
Stop.
Yes, I woke up and I was like, so I sleep with the notebook in my next to me, and I woke up and I say, oh well, back then we were working on the second album, and so then I'm like, sometimes I put myself in a position to write, and sometimes it comes and sometimes it doesn't. And so when it doesn't, I'm like, didn't came today, but I'm hoping that something will come in my dreams. And that night I fell asleep thinking about I need to complete, I need to come up with the lyrics and everything. And I dreamed with that song. And I was like, wow.
It was a
It was
dream.
such a vivid dream too.
Yeah,
It's
I was
like,
gonna say, I
I
want to
dream
hear
with me
this.
singing the song. So everything came, the lyrics and the melody together.
Were you on a stage singing the song, or were you like in your bedroom, or like where were you in the dream?
In the bedroom.
In your bedroom, singing the song,
Singing the song, listening to the melodies of the song.
like on a speaker, or like you could just hear it.
No, like when you listen music, right? When you're in your house and you're listening music, it was like that. But I
That's
was
so
singing the
cool.
song. So then when I woke up, I was like, I'm gonna write it because it happened so many times in my life.
That's
And
crazy.
before that, I was like, oh, I let go, and then you forget about your dreams, right? So you forget about the songs. And now I'm very conscious of that moment that happens. So then I wake up, and I dream with something, I write it down,
That's
and
so
I
cool.
record myself with the phone, the melodies, and then then we make a whole production of
That's
it.
so
That was
cool.
with that song was like that. So
That means you're like so potent in that dream space. Like you're just up there behaving
yeah, like
as if you're awake.
yes, and I think it's
Basically.
because it's that reality that I wanna stay so bad that my brain just keeps on work on. I don't even call it work. For me, it's a craft.
Right.
It comes.
When was the moment that you realized, like, oh man, I'm a professional singer. Like this is it. There's no going back. There's no plan B. Like this has to work.
When I started my education part in music. So I did 2 years at an artistic, it's like a school, but it was not a full career. It was more like a technique. So like to become the emphasis was more on like performing and how to express those feelings. And in the school was musician, was actors. So it was very, very cool and very free for people to just create. It was not very square, but that gives me the chance to recognize that, that the voice, because I keep trying for instruments, and I never feel, besides the piano to kind of study my vocals, I never feel like really the love for a guitar back then.
Right.
My love was with creating songs. So songwriting was the first love type of thing. And and that's cool. Those 2 years helped me. I was doing that while I still was in high school, maybe back then, right? And then it was so hard to pass to the Conservatorium of Music. It's so hard.
Really?
7,000 people that year, around 7,000 people from all over the country came to try to pass to that university because it's free. It was free tuition, and it's public, and it's kind of like the Berkeley here, right? That is like the best music school, and the best, for lawyers, and the best for doctors. So it was like the best of the best. And so, it's not like we have a lot of opportunities in the country when it comes to like free school,
Right,
so
right.
a lot of people want to study, want to become something. And so it's very competitive. And And I was kind of like finished those studies without being confident. I still did not believe, but I was doing it because I enjoy it and I like it and I want to be there. And I really enjoy the classes. And then when I was 14, I study other, like in the same university, the big one, but like little seminars. And in those seminars, I just enjoy it more and more and more, to the point that when it was a 3-day exam, and I was the youngest from everybody was already in their 20s, and I was like 16, and all my friends were like amazing musicians back then, like a guitarist, and then a cello player, and so then I was like looking all of them in a 3-day exam, and so I said, nah, I don't think I'm gonna pass. There's no way. All these people are like extremely good, and I don't play any instruments. And then I go first day, it was like more like, okay, show me what you can do. So you got people playing the cello, badass, guitar, badass, classic guitar. And then when it came to me, I just feel so small, and I start singing. I start singing a church song because I was part of a choir when I was little too. And so then I start singing, and then at the end, you have to wait to the next day to see if your numbers showed up on the list. And it's 7,000 people. So you got a wall, multiple walls full of the list of the people that passed to the second day. And then I went and I saw my number there. I was like, there is no way. Yeah, I passed the second. I say, okay, let's see what's next. And then the next part, it was more like, can you imitate these patterns? So it was more like also aptitudes. Okay, can you do it? Can you do it? And then a little bit of knowledge of music, which is like recognizing some of the harmonic circles. So I was kind of already got the knowledge. So then I was able to recognize, okay, it's a major, it's a minor, it is, and
You were learning to speak the language, basically, right?
yeah. So then I passed, and then the last day was more like a questionnaire, when they ask you like, what is your goal, and what, and I was like, well, I want to sing, and I want to, that's my instrument.
So you feel like you decided for yourself. You made the choice.
I mean, I made the choice. I wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad. And then back then I used to call it miracles. Back then I used to say, oh man, this is a miracle that I
But
get
really,
in.
you were working the
Like
entire
some of my
time.
friends who were instruments didn't pass. And I was like, why? I passed, they didn't pass. They were better than me. But there was something, right? I didn't recognize that that element until later on in life. And I just keep being grateful of like, oh my gosh, now I have to really kill it and study. And the requirement was 8 hours a day
Jeez.
spent on music. And that's your homework. Your homework is not like lecture. Your homework is like, learn how to read this, learn how to play this, on piano, classic. So I
Right.
study classic stuff, history and all that. And I enjoy it very much. And then I came to United States. So I came when I was 18, 19.
And at this point, you're a trained professional. I think that's
I
important.
had a pretty good year. I was pretty good year, and then knew how to read already and how to play an instrument. Like the piano was a basic, but knowing how to read the piano, like I know how to read. And if I spend time, I'm able to play a classic piece. And But then I came, and I was told that San Francisco was a place that if you like music, like you needed to go and experience. And then I came, and I couldn't do music in the beginning, so I started learning English, and I did like the ESL all the way to 122 college level English. That was challenged because I didn't know how to say hi. I came with like zero English.
Man. And
And
you were
then
18,
I was 19.
19.
And it took me 1 year to make the switch in my brain. That was like, oh, now
That's
I know what
really
they're talking
fast.
about. Now I can like at least trying to answer. Um, so it was good. We're gonna edit it, right? Sorry, I gotta
How are
text.
we doing on time?
I tend to talk a lot, so I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I'll make it short.
Only because we have like a limited amount of space on our drive. Okay. Okay, that's good.
Sorry, I gotta send it over to my son very quick. Um, Sorry, let me do this quick.
Max trying to fire up in here.
Come on, Max.
Shame on you, Max. No,
You were like, hey, turn that off. Put that out.
I'm just chilling.
I'm dead.
Big,
Here, sweetie. When you get the detailed screenshot, and send it to him, please.
It turns just
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
No worries. Okay, so you were talking about coming to the U.S. and being how was like the culture change from coming from Colombia into the U.S. and then it sounds like you just had this dream with you like the entire way, the entire time.
Yeah.
It was just something that kept you going. So, how would you say your transition was? And just I'm really curious about like your canon events in your artistry that just really solidified it for you, or like a moment where you realize like, okay, I'm gonna do this forever, or like I need to put the home studio in my house. You know, like that moment that's just like, okay, this is it. There's no going
Yeah,
back.
I think that when I met my husband, so because I used to say, oh, I don't wanna, I don't wanna date a musician because I want somebody who is different,
From
right,
you.
from me. So because I thought that it was gonna be more interesting, like to get to share two words, kind of thing, and get to learn from each other. But then
It's so funny
and then
she's
I
saying
lived
that,
that, and
and
I
her
didn't
ring is all
work.
shiny. She's like talking about how she didn't want to marry a musician. It's like this big shiny ring, just blinding.
See, that's when you know. I mean, I come from we come. I'm Latina. We pretty stubborn until we wake up. But I think that the being stubborn part of our culture is when you like keep fighting with your destiny and you keep fighting with the universe. And then when I started kind of like just meditating and just letting go, when it's like, okay, it didn't work, I don't have to be in this space. So when I started applying that, that's when like I think everything was quicker, like to the point that I got to meet Max first. Like we did the first single, but I was still very afraid because I used to be with bands, and so then I was like, oh, like I just like I don't know much about the business side of it, and I kind of knew and had an idea by watching, but I was not fully immersed in like the business side of it. So it was just scary, not like just being by myself pushing something, right? But the minute the universe just threw Josh, a common friend, we met, and shout out to Josh, and you know, it's those moments in life that keep showing you are where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we made a song, and that song, I was like, well, okay, this is a sign. Like, we did it. I made a song. I made a single as a solo artist, and then the song ended up in Euphoria.
Oh wow.
So, and the song, we got a few licensings on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that moment also is a moment of another wake up call of like, you are where you need to be.
Right.
Keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID happens, and I couldn't be with the band because we couldn't do anything together.
So this is recent.
Yeah, so I started my solo project after a journey of many years, you know, being with different bands and, you know, to my previous band, which was the project I wanted to be back then, was the part that I was more interested in was the songwriting part, because with the other bands I used to play covers, and I was like, oh, I do it because, you know, I can sing and I enjoy it, but when I met the band that I was going to be able to write, that's when I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is like the experience I've been looking for. And then that transition into writing, you know, when COVID happened, I was like, I'm not going to be able to survive.
Right.
Because music for me keeps me alive, right? So for me, it was more like, I'm not going to be able, I'm going to get depressed
Right.
if have to be away from music. So I started learning how to play the guitar. And the only instrument I had available, and not available, I was like, I'm just going to buy one. And I bought one for like $50. And I was like, you know, I have a lot of time. I'm just going to learn. And I learned how to play the guitar. And after having the experience in the studio with Max, it just kind of opened my whole spectrum for the possibilities.
Right.
You know? And I started believing more in myself when the song got picked and we were in, you know, the same pod than Becky G.
Wow.
So for me, it was like, whoa, they like the song. You know, it's a lot of things that goes through your mind. It's not just the song. It's the songwriting part. It's a good craft. It's, you know, and that was another opportunity that for me was like, I'm going to keep on going. And this is like, it gave me the feel to continue. And then I met my current husband, who is also a producer, Michael Stanza, in the house. And, you know, and then we started again, like trying to piece it together, because my background was very traditional, like in cumbia and other Afro-Colombian rhythms that I've been doing since I was little. And then he was more experienced on like a pop sound and like electronic sounds. So, you know, well, we started working. We started as friends and started working together, and we got closer.
Spicy pepper emoji.
Yeah, and you know, as much as I love his creativity, like the personality is what I needed it too. Like I was like, oh my God, he's like so chill, hyper mega chill, like, and I'm chill, but I'm not so chill. You know, it's like I'm Colombian, so he was like a person who keeps me grounded, and also who loves music and who is an amazing producer, and it was just such a moment every time we get together. It was I forget, you know, I lost track of time. I was like forgetting about my responsibilities. Like, oh my God, it's just the time with him is so cool. Like, this is what I want.
And now that's your husband. That's crazy. That's like a fairy tale.
It is a fairy tale. I always tell my friends, like, I do feel I met my prince.
Seriously.
Yeah,
that's like
seriously.
a dream.
I don't think you need to imagine this, you know, the prince with the white horse, you know, but it's more like that person that keeps you granted, at least for me, that it's kind of like make you a better person. And I
That makes
think,
you like yourself more.
and you can be yourself,
Right.
and you don't have to like pretend, because I,
Right.
you know, that I'm this and that, or that I dress like this and that, or like, you know, that I have to be the cutest, and I have to be all done, and it's like, no, you know, like you want somebody who loves you for who you are in pajamas, for like who you are in your worst days, for, you know,
All the
and
changes.
accept you for the being that you are, and not because you're cute, or you know,
Right.
or this and that, or you have this and that. Although we have it all.
You sure do. Hell yeah.
I am kidding. But
Okay,
yeah.
so now that you have these accomplishments, and I'm really, thank you so much for sharing that, because I love to hear that you can recognize and celebrate those wins when they come. Because I think some people, they get so caught up in the end product that they don't take that time to recognize the milestones when they show up. So that's really important to learn to accept the blessings and celebrate them and feel proud of yourself and feel grateful. And you keep saying that, I'm just so grateful. So I think when you incorporate gratitude in each milestone or each step, and earlier you said you either learn or you just move on.
You don't lose.
You never
I don't
lose.
like when people say, I lost something. We don't lose. I
Right.
mean, we advance or we learn.
Right, right.
But either way, we keep evolving regardless.
Right.
And for me, like, okay, well, if that never happened, if my dad was still alive now, that I wouldn't be here. I would not be here in the United States. I would not be living my dream. I would not. So everything happens for a reason. And you have to let go, because it's part of loving someone so much. It's accepting that there is a purpose and time. When you have a relationship with your mom, your dad, your friend, but if that ends, that doesn't mean you have to feel miserable and take it as like, I lost. I didn't lose anything, because I keep his legacy of like hardworking person, and his mentality. He was an entrepreneur, very successful at the age of 20s, and he's 20s. So for me, it was like, well, maybe life just had to show me where it had to show me, and that was his purpose. And so for me, it was like, well, I have to have a purpose too. So music is my purpose, and I think as long as I enjoy it the way I enjoy it, which is everything, I'm gonna continue being happy.
And you're going to continue being blessed because you just create so much space for all of that, the blessings to keep coming in.
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
create the reality.
and I don't see I don't see that something is impossible. Like, I know that there is challenges for all of us in life, but I don't see like this is impossible. I don't have that in my hard drive.
Right,
know?
right.
Like, I think that anything is possible at this point, because I went through many challenges to the point that I started receiving. And then I think that the real exercise that works so well for me is that gratitude. The minute I say, I'm so grateful for this, and then you kind of like wake up being grateful, go to bed being grateful, then you make a space for
Right.
things to happen.
Right, right.
And I wish that more people can practice those things, because we get caught up into the stress and the fear. And those are the things that are blocking us from moving forward.
Right.
So and then people, oh, because you have done this and that. Yeah, but don't forget where I come from.
Right.
Like, this is not happen. It didn't happen overnight.
Right.
You know, it didn't happen like that.
Right.
It's a process that I force myself to enjoy, because sometimes you had to do things that you don't want to do.
Right, right.
Right? Like, sometimes I didn't want to sing those covers. Right? But I had to put myself in the emotions of the artist when they wrote the song, and learn something
Like
from
pay
it.
your dues at that point.
Yeah, and I still
that.
pay my dues. And I think every pivotal moment is something I have to do because the ultimate dream is my dream, which is being able to make my own music and the style that I wanted, dressing how I wanted,
Right.
and
And now you get to do that.
yeah, I always been very rebellious, a rebellious mind.
Mm-hmm.
I never went with the trends of like this is how you dress. Like I even in Colombia, I used to be more like a tomboy style because I want to be free, and I didn't want to be like put in a box of like, something. But anyway, it's definitely all those great things that have happened that push me for more, and that I work also.
Right.
You know.
So now that you have these accomplishments, I feel like now you live obviously in a new reality where you feel able and you feel capable and you feel courageous enough to go after those things. And I know that you have achieved like such cool things. I mean, even just opening for Julieta Venegas 3 times, that's already like holy shit. That's a huge, because now those people are looking forward to seeing you. I'm sure there's so many people that are there to see you because now you're part of her act too, And I know that you have more sync licensings that you've done that are like so epic. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Oh man, Sans Bailala with Max Perry, and Euphoria, Generation Plus, and what was the other one? We got one more. Max, what was the other one? Generation Plus, Euphoria, and don't we got one more? And a campaign.
Nice.
So it was those were like wow,
Like next level.
yeah, it is
right?
next level. Well, for me, that very very first was another unbelievable moment.
Right.
For me, I was like Euphoria, and then I didn't know what Euphoria was. And then I asked my kids, older kids, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I have a son in Euphoria. And my daughter was like jumping up and down. What? Euphoria? For real? With Zendaya? And I like, who is Zendaya? Because I'm not like I don't watch a lot of TV, like, so I started looking for it and I was like, oh my God, it is a big deal.
Oh my
It's a
God,
huge
Euphoria
deal.
was such a big deal. Like I had all this glitter makeup during that time. I was totally influenced by the Euphoria. I watched every single episode. So that's crazy. I
I
probably heard
started watching it ever since, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's such a cool concept."
it's a creative
It was
show.
very creative. I loved the some of the characters and the freedom and all of it. It was such a cool. That it was an amazing moment because it's also, not just a show. It's a great show.
Right. Tell me about your McDonald's commercial.
Ah!
The McDonald's commercial with all of the babies and the husband and everything in there. She was like, I'm coming, but I'm bringing everybody with me.
Oh my God, yes. So, it's just me being me.
I love that commercial. It comes on my TikTok feed all the time. I like it every time I see. I'm like, I know her.
Yeah, it was it was another blessing that came through my husband. He was also has been in the music industry for so long. He got the chance to like work and do other stuff and meet people along his way. And so then, he kind of pitched the project but without knowing if they were going to pick me or not. And then it was kind of like going through and I was so pregnant. So the year we were going to do it and then I was so pregnant, I couldn't do it that year. And I was like, oh, but you know what? I give it to the universe. Like, if it's all meant to be, it's all meant to be. And I forgot about it. And then the year after, which is this year, they sent us an email and they were like, you guys, we have a deal.
Nice.
Like let's do it. And so through Music Exchange. Shout out to Music Exchange and Max and everybody who made it such a dream. It was an amazing experience also, like having that collab with such a brand, you know, like for me, McDonald's has been the biggest brand.
It's just an iconic
It's
entity.
an iconic, you know, like even when I was learning about an entrepreneurial world, learning about businesses and reading about it and listening podcasts about it. And then their story being so motivated. And so for me it was like, oh my gosh,
You get to be
this
part
is
of that.
a huge deal. And I was just grateful again just because I'm not like a huge artist yet. And there's having those moments in life, I was like, okay, this is gonna help me to do more. And so that was the we got the commercial. Then we were able to book a tour in Texas, and you know, that was another pivotal moment in humble, and also that shows me that humbleness is like, it's so important to be humble through the process, because it's like, for me, it's not about getting here. It's more like, what do the process look like, and how can I connect with people in the process? Like, I have never seen an artist as this big thing. I don't think I'm a big fan of some of my favorite music artists, but I have never seen them like God. You know how some people, for me, it's more like, oh my God, they're working so hard.
I mean, you see yourself in them. It's like your peers at that point, because you know you've been working just as hard.
And I call them my colleagues.
They are,
because
exactly.
I learn from them and I get to see their path, and that's the path I'm walking in. You know, like I'm still a baby doing baby steps.
You keep saying that. I feel like you just told us how you have all this like long time experience.
Yes, but it's still like,
still
with
feel
the
like-
amount of work that I want to do, I'm doing baby steps still.
That's insane.
Yeah, because
That's like
I want to do a lot more things.
that's so motivating to hear too.
Yeah, and I think that in general, if you don't have that feeling, then how do you get better? For me, it's like learning so I can get better, and so all those experiences, I've like nothing but being grateful, because they come, but they also come because I've been doing the work.
Right.
And so it's like the combination of both, of like staying present and keep creating. And you know, I'm more grateful because along the path I'm able to be myself,
Right.
which with my previous band that I was so happy to be part of it because of the songwriting part, I wasn't able to be myself. I was not able to dress how I wanted to dress, to say what I wanted to say. And so now having this opportunity for me is
I love
enormous.
that I love that your genuine self is your greatest motivation. It sounds like you're like your own muse. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do all this so I can just feel free to be myself. And when I think about you, I do see someone that is exactly who they are. Like, you are yourself. So it's really motivating.
Yeah,
inspiring.
and for some people I'm crazy.
For
For some people I'm like, this woman is insane. Well, I am insane because it's not easy. It's not easy to be you, and it's not easy to have the courage as a woman, as an independent artist, as a mother of 4.
Jeez.
Is something that people is like, how do you do all these things? And I think it's because I put myself into it, and I just make time for it. So sometimes I meet people, it's like, yeah, you gotta give a lot of time and focus, but how many hours we have in a day?
Right.
Like, don't be fooling around. Just, if you're disciplined, and I think that being in the academy, the biggest thing that they gave me was the discipline to to say I need to put this amount of time
Right.
into creating. I need to put this amount of time for my family. I need to put this amount of time, and I try to do everything together, like working from home, from like behind scenes, the business side of it, and pitching myself
Right.
to,
Right.
like people and companies and trying to meet more people and trying to have like this network that's so important that goes with like the entrepreneurial side and business side of it and the development side and learning and trying to see, learning. And my husband has been so important in my career at this point. And I think that we're not like doing it like super fast, but we have accomplished a lot because he studied business. So he's a very knowledgeable person and very rational on like a lot of decisions that I share with him, and then we both kind of come together to like, yeah, this is what we need to do. So
That's amazing.
for me, yeah, I think that he needs to battle with me because I want to do so many things. He's like, wait.
You guys
Step by step.
make a good team.
Yeah. So
Okay, so your song that you're doing today is a song with you and Mikey, your husband. Tell me about the song. It's the holidays. This is our holiday season. We got our tree up.
yeah.
And-
Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
It's
Merry
coming.
Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Happy holidays to you too. Yeah, the song is it's called I Poppy. And actually we were about to put another song out that we have ready and we've been working on it. And then we were just like jamming like a Friday night and we just do that. We don't go out much, but we just, smoke a joint and just make
Jam out.
music. And then the song came up and I'm like, oh my God, we have to put this song first. And he was like, why? It's like, because it's for December and it's like in the spirit. And the lyrics are, talks about, I puppy, like don't fight. Because in Colombia, like based on the spirits of like nobody wants to fight for Christmas.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to have like this happy spirit with no dramas. And so the song talks about that. It's like, it also goes with me and my personality and my vibe of like please don't fight. But if you're still gonna fight, like you're gonna have to fight with your own self because I'm gonna still enjoy my Christmas.
Because you want to have a good time for Christmas. I
Because I
love
want to
that
have a
song.
good time. So yeah, I think it's like it's cool because I felt that was for me Christmas back home. When I was in a relationship that was like, like one of those like teenager relationships that you like fight and then you kind of end things and then you get back together. It's like back and forth.
So you're
But like
let's
the
get-
holidays is a no for fights.
Yeah, we have to stay together for Christmas because you have my Christmas list. So let's not fight.
And also like, we don't want no drama over Christmas.
Right. I love that.
But yeah, that song talks about that, and I hope it inspires a lot of people to like, no matter what happened, just keep your sanity, enjoy the moment,
Tell me some of the things you like to do for Christmas.
spend time with family.
Yeah.
Spend
What are
time
your
with my
favorite holiday dishes that you cook at home?
Oh, so I learned this dish from my mother-in-law, Gigi. I'll say hi. And she taught me how to make shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie?
Yeah, she made like the best shepherd's pie ever. And I'm like, I need to learn because it's so good. And I want to be able to make like such a big casserole with like the minimum effort because I want to keep working. And so I watched her and she taught me how to do it. And it became my favorite dish.
So that's your Christmas dish?
And that's like Christmas. It's like, it's nice and warm. And
Nice.
and it's like for the holidays.
That
like,
sounds so good.
Yeah. I enjoy warm food.
Warm food.
Warm food for the holidays.
That's what you like. What do you like to drink for the holidays?
Hot cocoa.
Hot cocoa. Do you do any Colombian stuff?
So yes, most of these years, I used to do a lot more, but now like I have there is a lot of things to work on. So then, kind of limited my time to enjoy too much and then do more work. But there is this drink that is called canelazo, and it's like with piloncillo, which is like the sugar,
Yeah, like the big sugar,
the
like
sugar
block.
stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has like cinnamon, and then you put like a little bit of liquor inside, and then you drink it hot, like sake. You know,
That sounds so
but it's
good.
like it's better than sake because
Yeah.
it's like sweet.
And natural.
So it's like a holiday drink.
I love
But
that.
I enjoyed that one.
What is it called?
Canelazo.
Canelazo. I need to try that. Maybe I'll make some.
Yeah, canelazo. I tried for the first time in Bogota. In one of the trips I did when I was 14, I was part of this big group, a corporation group, and we had like it was 30 people touring. We were 30 on a
wow.
bus, and I was part of the musicians. But then we got like the actors and the dancers, and it was a big thing. And we toured around the country, and I got to be part of that tour in the capital. And then that was like my first experience touring, like getting to know a new city, but doing music and singing at one of the most representative theaters in Colombia.
Oh, wow.
When I was 14, so I was like, just everything was new.
Yeah.
Now I look back and I'm like, that was such a good experience.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I was like
At the time, you
playing in such a dream theater, Jorge Elias Gaitan theater in the capital. And
You learned to make canelazo during that time.
I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And I didn't know I had a drink, so I tried.
Got all fucked
I was like,
up.
oh, this is kind of strong. And I was like, oh yeah, like it has a drink.
It's so funny.
I was like, it's so good. But yeah, so then I got in love with canelazo.
That sounds like a great time. So you're gonna have the shepherd's pie and the canelazo at Chika D's house for Christmas.
Definitely.
Yes. So thank you so much for coming to talk to me today.
Oh my God.
I had
thank
an
you for
amazing
having me.
conversation. I can't wait to have you back.
Yes.
Tell me what's coming up next for you, something we can look forward to.
What's coming next? The second album.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on it. More music.
More music every
more
day.
music, more music videos. Yeah, we're having the plans to go to Colorado to do shows and also to shot a music video.
That's going to be fun.
But yeah, and then don't see what else, but play more shows.
Yeah, play more shows. You have fan base in Colorado?
No, not yet.
So you're going to go, vas a
It's
ir a
gonna be my
conquistar.
first time. My first time. Yeah. in
That's going to be
Colorado.
so much fun. That's always
I'm
so
excited.
fun, exciting.
I'm always super excited I really enjoyed the first gigs, the first concerts on like a new city. Because like people don't know you, and so there is like maybe the minimum expectations, but then you show and then yeah, just kind of like it's amazing to feel the response of people. Like people when I find out that a song resonate with them.
Especially live, it's just so magical. When you look at your stats, where is most of your fan base?
So it's a mix.
Yeah.
It's a mix. I have a lot of folks in Colombia.
Yeah, obviously,
Of course,
right?
my hometown is proud of all the things I have done. And then San Francisco,
Yeah.
Oakland. I'm still very new. Like, we have a pretty good fan base with my previous project. We kind of worked the market for 10 years, so it was like cool. And now I just feel like I'm still working my market. It's a new project, it started 2020, so pretty new.
Yeah,
Pretty new and
exciting.
kind of showing the craft, and it's very interesting.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait for your live performance.
Yes. Hi, I am Chika D y estamos aquí en Caile Podcast y aquí les va esta rolita. Llevamos una semana y aún no podemos arreglar los celos, te están matando y así no podemos continuar. ¿Cómo quieres que te explique? Solo tengo ojitos para ti, pero si el orgullo te gana, sin ti también puedo vivir. Ay, papía, deja de pelear, que se viene ya diciembre y contigo yo quiero estar. Ay, papía, deja ese berrinche que tiene. Espero que se te pueda quitar como me lo canta Juanes. La vida es un ratico, papá. Tengo el corazón arrugadito, pero ¿qué le vamos a hacer? Si decides alejarte, de mi mente te sacaré. Ay, papía, deja de pelear, que se viene ya diciembre y contigo yo quiero estar. Ay, papía, deja de pelear, que se viene ya diciembre y solita no quiero estar. ¡Ah! Báilalo. Nadie muere de amor, nadie muere de amor. Te lo digo y lo repito, nadie muere de amor. Escucha, nadie muere de amor, nadie muere de amor. Te lo digo y lo repito, nadie muere de amor. Ya no pelees.